Last time, on Daughter of the Twilight, Daughter of the Light, Aura told the princesses of her dark, painful history in her time. She revealed herself to be the future daughter of Link and Midna, and that her purpose for returning was to bring her parents together without the Mirror of Twilight ever being restored. The three girls were silent. Aura was staring at the floor, a mixture of sorrow, denial, and anger in her eyes. Midna was kneeling on the ground, holding her arms around herself and trying not to cry. Zelda stood motionless, her hand to her side and her eyes to the ceiling. Just then, a guard entered the hall.
Your Highness, I understand you do not wish to be disturbed whilst in the meeting of utter importance, but I do believe it's getting late. Maybe you should get some sleep. You and your visitors as well, since I'm sure they must have traveled very far.
Thank you for informing me, sir. I did not realize how late it was getting. You are dismissed.
The guard quickly scurried back out the door, closing it softly behind him.
Well, why don't the two of you get to sleep? I'm going to head for my chambers, and you should do the same. We'll settle things in the morning.
You know about my feelings for Link?
Yes.
And you still let me destroy the mirror?
By the time I realized what it was you were doing, I could not do anything to stop you. And you know as well as I that the mirror held within it an incredible evil force. As Aura had made clear, our duty to our people comes first and foremost, not the duty to our hearts.
Come on, let's get to sleep.
You're right. Come on.
We need to wake up early and drag Link away from that stupid human girl before they get up tomorrow morning.
Well, good night, my friends. We shall see each other tomorrow morn.
And so, they all set off for their chambers and quickly drifted off to sleep. In the morning, Aura was the first to awaken.
I'll let the others sleep a little while longer. I need some more time to plot.
She yawned to herself, thinking of a reasonable way to separate her future father from his growing love interest. Midna lay awake in her bed as well, staring longingly at the ceiling.
I was so stupid. Why couldn't I have just told him the contents of my heart before I shattered the mirror? Then we wouldn't be having this stupid problem in the first place. I should have just waited a little while longer to break the mirror. Just a few moments, a day at the most. That's all it would have taken.
Aura burst into Midna's room, which was probably entirely unnecessary because she could have just slipped under the door by traveling through the shadows.
Come on, let's go before the human wakes up. Link may be one heck of a late sleeper, but I doubt that she's the same.
Midna quickly hopped out of bed and made her way out the door, closely following behind Aura. They walked around a corner and traveled down a few flights of stairs, and met up with Princess Zelda.
Good morning, girls. Are we ready to do this?
Ready as ever.
Let's do this.
Zelda turned and headed towards Ilia and Link's room. Aura and Midna followed closely behind.
What's the plan, Aura?
It's quite simple, really. Midna will go in as a shadow and check out what we have to work with. Then, depending on what actually happened last night, we'll make our move and get Link out of there. Worst case scenario, they slept together, and we'll have to get him out of bed without Ilia noticing. If that happens, we're gonna have to hit her in the head with something pretty heavy.
I like the sound of that.
I'll have no senseless violence occurring in my palace, especially if you expect me to be a part of it.
Alright, fine. We'll just leave him alone if he's in bed. Well, if he's not in bed, we'll just grab him and go. Simple as that.
The trio nodded, and Midna sank into the shadows. She slipped herself under the door and materialized, in utter shock at what she was seeing. Or rather, what she wasn't seeing.
I think we're gonna have a bit of a problem.